Hello and welcome to the two-man press. As you can hear in the background, it's the men's basketball pregame. Right after IU lost to Oklahoma State 83-72. That's their fifth loss of the season. They moved to 2-5. You're alongside Aaron Siegal-Eisman with Trent Stutzman. And kind of the stats of the game as we saw it stands out. Alani Sinclair, 23 points, 5 for 10 from three-point range. But it was the main thing was Oklahoma State trying to stop them from, long distance shooting, 8 for 16, 50% from three-point range. But also their second half field goal percentage was 57%, and it was hard for the Hoosiers to stop them from that point on. Tale of kind of two different halves for the Hoosiers. First half really out-rebounded this Cowgirl team, but in the second half you saw more of the Cowgirls really coming into their own, hitting threes, fast break offense, and Hoosiers just not transitioning well on defense. Kind of your thoughts on the game, Trent, and what really stood out for you?
Well, yeah, like you said, IU, they started out really strong. They got up to a 10-point lead, I think it was, like midway through the first half. But then after that, they just couldn't hold on to it. I will get to it in a second, but I thought with the loss of Georgie Jones, Danilsa Andujar did a good job of stepping up tonight. She had 11 rebounds, 11 points, and really led the Hoosiers. She got started kind of slow, actually, which is kind of the reverse of how IU did as a team, but she led them in the second half, didn't allow them to quit, so let them come back and only lose by 11 when they were down by more. So I thought her play was noticeable.
Yeah, and at points we saw leads of almost 20, 22 points for this Oklahoma State team. Hoosiers coming back, mainly a game of runs. Oklahoma State closed out on an 8-0 run to lead by 5 points at halftime. Then starting the second half, I believe it was 18-5 run for the Cowgirls for those first 7 minutes of the second half. And that was just a big problem for the Hoosiers, is trying to stop these runs. Did you see, was there something that really happened that better for the Cowgirls to get an established run?
I don't know if it's so much what the Cowgirls did as much as what the Hoosiers did. I know it sounds kind of simple to say, but when the shots were falling for the Hoosiers, that's when they went on their run. Because offensive side, usually their defense is really scrappy enough to force turnovers. It's just a matter of whether or not they can convert those to score points. When they're making the shots they should, they went on the run, they went up. But then when they were missing easy layups and stuff like that, that's what led to the big runs for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and so that was definitely a problem for the Hoosiers, and just not being able to get back into it after 20-point deficits is going to be really tough for this Hoosier team, even at home, because at home is usually you see these Hoosiers really coming to their own and hit a lot more shots, and that happens. I mean, now we're going to talk a little about Georgie Jones, the senior, co-captain for this Hoosier team. They lost her after the first 8 minutes of the Virginia game at Virginia on Thursday. ACL tear, arterial cruciate ligament, if I'm getting that right. I had a little recap in tomorrow's paper that you can read about the injury. But basically an injury like that, as you can remember from Maurice Creek and from Sasha Chaplin, you're out for the rest of the season. So she played the first 6 games, averaging 8 points and 8 rebounds a game, roughly. But you lose the leader on the court, you lose the senior, and this could possibly be your last year unless there is a medical red shirt. But we'll see, depending on eligibility for her, especially since she transferred from Marquette. How does this really affect the team? What did you kind of hear from Coach in the press conference afterwards about the impact?
Well, yeah, first of all, it's going to hurt them most importantly just in the leadership category. I thought she did a great job leading on the court for the Hoosiers. They've got such a young team. They're really in desperate need for experience and leadership there. So that's, first of all, what they're going to miss the most. But then secondly, Simone Deloche, another big, is already hurt too. Now they lose her, and starter Sasha Chaplin, she's had a real history of injuries. So it's looking real concerning in the front court whether or not they'll have depth to be effective for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, that height depth really needs to stand out if they're going to win games. Getting rebounds, really boxing out was a problem today, what we saw. And then just making sure you get back on transition defense against the post players of Oklahoma State so that they don't have easy buckets like they did. So that was a big problem for this Hoosier team. Finally, your final thoughts on the game. What positives could you think the Hoosiers take out of this one?
Positives, just once again that they refused to die. Although they ended up losing by 11, it really could have been a lot worse. There are times where it looked like it could just been a major blowout, but they stuck with it, stayed in it. A lot of which was credited to Denilson Andrew-Har, as I said earlier. She provided a great example for them. But I mean, from here going forward, I just think they just really need to find consistency, mainly in lineup. Sophomore Andrea Neubauer, who usually plays the most minutes at point guard for them, only played 12 minutes tonight. Not really sure why that happened, but I mean, yeah, with injury problems and just changes in lineup, they really just need to find consistency to get going.
And that was a big problem for this Hoosier team, finding that consistency, not letting Oklahoma State get on runs, or even hitting shots when it needs to be hit for this Hoosier team. Standout for me was definitely the three-point shooting of Alani Sinclair. She shoots a lot of threes, but tonight she was hitting, and she's hitting from the free throw line. Another positive, 14 for 14 from the free throw line. That always helps, but just not enough to get it done here today and for the Big Ten. And so thanks for watching. Look for both of our articles in tomorrow's IDS, and please follow us on Twitter, Aaron SE503 for me, as well as Trent Stutzman at TrentStutzman, no spaces in between that. And then also follow the IDS on IDS_sports on Twitter and Hoosier Hype. Have a good one. And the Hoosiers will face St. Bonaventure on the road on Wednesday. Thanks and have a good one.